my boy Andrew Tate, man. Apparently he is now free. Andrew Tate, if you guys don't know, he was locked up on while they were doing an investigation into possible sex crimes that he may have committed in Romania. They claimed that him and his brother Tristan Tate were running a sex trafficking, human trafficking organization where they brought women over from other countries, lured. They always use that word lured. It makes it sound so like devious. Basically told these chicks that they're in love with them and that if they worked for them in this sex trade or this sex business, that whatever would happen. These women became on-camera models and brought in a lot of money for their business, but then they kept most of it. But they even claim, some people be like, well, that's just pimping, right? Of course, Sharp would say that, right? Well, they call that human trafficking, right? Like you've deceived and kind of manipulated these women to now be in sex work. However, some of these allegations also extend to rape. Like some people have said that they have, forced themselves on some of these women and even done some manipulation, brainwashing tactics. Like in their inner thigh, they have tattoos that says "owned by Tate." He denies all this shit. He's like, nah, I'm not doing none of this bullshit. This is cap. Like, look at me. I'm the top G. Also, these women, they wanted to do whatever sex work that they may have done for me because they wanted to get money. They locked him up since like December, and he's just now getting out now in April, which means for 4 straight months, right? Or 3 months pretty much in totality. He was locked up, and they just got out now. And after he got out, there was a few videos that came out. First of all, it was this. Yeah, my man looked like he been through it. He said he did like 7,000 push-ups or whatever the case is. I ain't gonna lie, man. It looked like he just escaped out of Siberia. It looks like Wolverine when Wolverine like escaped out of the lab when they were trying to do some when they were trying to like do all these tests on him and he escaped. He looked like that type of nigga right now. You know what I mean? However, he also spoke a little bit, and I'll pull up the link of what he said. This was him in like his first couple words since being released. He spoke here.
Andrew. Yeah. When I was in jail, I focused on doing push-ups and reading the Quran. When I am home, I will focus on doing push-ups and reading the Quran.
Mashallah. Long live the top G.
All right. And I think there was something else. Was there something else? This is when they were just leaving jail. That's his brother. He's behind here. This is Andrew Tate and obviously Tristan Tate right here. Yeah. What I will say, and I think there's another one. Is this one?
Today, because they were very attentive and they listened to us and they let us free, so I have to give absolute respect to them. I have no resentment in my heart for the country of Romania or for anybody else. I just believe in the truth.
It was political, so...
I believe in God, and I think that the fire of truth will eventually destroy all lies, and anybody who lies in a long enough time frame will feel the sting of regret, and I believe in this.
Yeah, sure.
I truly believe that justice will be served in the end. There is 0% chance of me being found guilty of something I have not done. I maintain my absolute innocence, and I think most people understand this, and I look forward to being home. So thank you very much, everybody.
All right. One thing I'll say about this whole thing is that, number one, I'm glad that they have been released. You got to imagine, and this is why I keep telling you, sometimes I feel like I'm like just being like a super patriot for no reason, but I keep saying America is the best country because even though it's fucked up in its ways, you go to these other countries, they don't have due process. They don't give you certain rights. Like, they locked you up for 4 months and they still don't even have an answer. Do they have charges on you or not? Do you get any type, like, is there any type of like, they're holding your cars? You're still pretty much under arrest. And by the way, they're still under arrest, just house arrest now. So they've been released to house arrest. They're not free to go anywhere. They're going to have to be, but it's obviously better to be in your mansion than be in a jail cell. However, we don't know what's going on with charges yet. this is a good sign for them. I will say this. From what I have seen in situations that I believe mirror Andrew Tate, and I'll tell you what situations that would be, when a man becomes so powerful that his voice is now able to shift the narrative of the youth or potentially threaten the establishment, what usually happens at that point, those people somehow get silenced. And, you know, rather than just being cynical with this, we never really see those people really get out. Like, I'm going to sound like a hypocrite a little bit because I'm going to mention a situation, but this was a murder investigation. Like he reminds me a lot of Vybz Kartel. Vybz Kartel was someone who people thought his voice was more important than the Jamaican government. Even though he was an entertainer, yes, some other people saw him as a gangster. Like the kids and the country, people in the communities listened to him more than they listened to the government. The way to silence him, incarcerate him. Never let him out. Never got out. I thought all these appeals were going to fail for Tate, and I didn't think he was going to get out until we heard these charges and until maybe they gave him 10 or 20 years, but he's free. So I think this is kind of shocking. Now, one of the reasons people usually are fearful of some people like even Tate being released is because you now know he's now the most popular and powerful he's ever been. So if there was any reason to incarcerate or try to silence him because he was so powerful, you silencing him now only makes him more. You silencing him or locking him up, then releasing him only makes him more powerful. So I think that's an interesting thing, and I think he's probably going to realize that there's probably still a huge target on his back. And I'm very interested to see how he uses this freedom because I don't think he'll speak directly from now on. Like, they just showed you that you can't go anywhere and you're still under investigation, so you could still be locked up again. How do you send these coded messages to your supporters who want you to speak directly when, if I'm him and if I'm his lawyers, I would say, hey, listen, don't say nothing against the Romanian government, the legal process, the prosecutors. You need to really shut up, but so many people want to hear you speak. So I think this is like absolutely interesting, but I think it's rare that we've ever seen once they come down on somebody of influence like him, that person never gets out. You know what I mean? Like, shit. You could look at even Nelson Mandela, like, shit, they held him for a long ass time. They're like, yo, by the time this nigga get out, hopefully y'all niggas don't want to hear what he got to say no more. You know, granted, 4 months is still a long time, but damn, he is back out and back free. And I would say people want to hear more than ever before what the fuck he has to say right now. Some people say, oh, thank you for adding that. Larry Hoover. Like, from what I hear, they have Larry Hoover, like, basically incarcerated on a certain type of level where he really can't, like, you really won't even know whatever the fuck he wants you to know. His messages might be filtered. You'll never hear any direct messaging from somebody like that again. Somebody said they could only hold him for 6 months. From what I heard, they could hold him for up to 9 months or maybe 6 months. So 3 months, they'd let him out early. He got out on appeal. Somebody says lock him up just like Trump. Well, first of all, Trump's never going to get locked up. Right? Donald Trump is not going to get locked up. They have confirmed already, if you guys don't know. Donald Trump